So if you've heard about Arch Linux, then you more than likely have heard about Manjaro. So let's check it out right fast. So what's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I want to do a quick review of the latest version of Manjaro. Now, if you don't know much about Manjaro, it's a Arch based Linux distribution, and they have a couple editions of the distribution. They have a Plasma desktop edition, a XFCE edition, and a GNOME edition, where you can check out all three of those different desktop environments. But the cool thing about Manjaro is it's Arch based, so it takes advantage of the Arch repository as well as the Arch user repository, which has a whole bunch of packages that you can install on your system. And that's what makes this distribution great. I look at it as a distribution for people that want to use Arch but don't want to go through the normal Arch install. And then they'll be able to say that, slogan, I use Arch, by the way. But anyway, it's an awesome distribution. I really like it. I've reviewed it in the past, but I want to do a quick review just showing you guys the latest one. And I typically look at XFCE desktop environments, but today I'm going to switch it up and show you guys the Plasma desktop environment, just to show you guys how cool it actually looks. And I kind of want to cover the package manager, the graphical package manager called Pamac, which is an easy and simple way to install applications versus using the terminal. But I still like to use that terminal. But if you are new to Linux, you do have that graphical environment that allows you to help install the different packages or the various packages that are out there for you. So let's hop over right to the website and read a little bit about it, and then we'll hop over to my virtual machine and go through the install. Alright, cool. So we are at manjaro.org. This is where you can get the operating system. It says Manjaro has no adverts, licenses, or fees. It respects users' privacy and empowers them with a full control over their hardware. It can be used for development, gaming, 3D, office, and home. It can be installed on tablets, mobile, and desktop and laptops and boards. And one thing that kind of stand out to me is the mobile portion. So they do have an OS, Manjaro OS for phones. As you can see in the background, check out the Pine phone. And I actually have a Pine phone, and I owe you guys a video on actually setting it up. But you guys will see that in the near future. But this is, like I said, this is an awesome distribution. It has a big community behind it, and it also is Arch based, so the community is there from Arch as well. So it kind of follows that same model, you know what I'm saying? And so if you want to get a copy of it, and I won't go through this whole website all deep like I normally do. I'll just go down and show you guys how to download it. But it should show the menu at the top. The reason it's not showing the menu because I have it open in a small browser for my recording. But all you have to do is hit the menu and then go to the downloads page. So click on it and it'll take you to the downloads page. And like I said, it's a whole bunch of official editions. And official meaning that they've been tested, so they all work. So Plasma desktop, XFCE desktop, GNOME desktop. And then one cool thing about it, just to show you guys, this is the full, which I downloaded the full, which we're going to install. It comes with everything for the system. But if you hit this toggle, you can toggle it to the minimal, which it'll have minimal. It won't have all the applications on there, all the themes and everything that comes with the full version. Not everything is there, and it's kind of a scaled down version of the same desktop environment and Manjaro itself. And like I stated, XFCE and GNOME is available. Same options. You can click here, get a minimal version of XFCE. Click here, get a minimal version of GNOME if you want to. And then the options, this is a torrent download. You could just download the image directly, download the signature, as well as the checksum. So that's for all three editions. Now, they do have the ARM versions. Like I said, I'm not going to go through them all, but they have a whole bunch of desktops for that as well. I don't want to go through it too deep, but one other thing I wanted to show you guys was the form. Well, actually the wiki. The wiki is what's more important. So let's go down and open that up, but it's wiki.manjaro.org. Well, this will basically cover everything about the operating system. So if you like to read like me and look at configurations and want to understand how to change and manipulate your operating system, then you'll spend a lot of time here at the wiki. It's similar to the Orch wiki, you know what I'm saying? The Orch wiki, I spend a lot of time there, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you check out the wiki, or pin it or bookmark it, to your browser, because you'll probably be spending a lot of time there, especially if you're new to Linux and you're new to Manjaro. This is your first resource, as well as go back to the main page, our forum. So you can go there and ask questions, and a lot of times the questions you run into, have probably already been asked. So it's best to start by searching a specific topic. If you run into an error, it's probably been addressed in the past, or just normal usage of the system, it's probably been addressed. So all you have to do is search here, and you could probably find some information on your problem or whatever you're trying to do with the operating system. Okay, so let's go on and switch over to our virtual machine and go through the install. Okay, so we have our virtual machine created. I basically gave it 64 gigabytes of space on the hard drive, the virtual hard drive, as well as 8 gigabytes of memory. I'm not sure if it's a minimum requirement on the drive space, so I just to be safe, I gave it 64 gigs, which, as always, I normally delete these virtual machines after I do the review. But one thing about virtual machines is you can set it to where it dynamically grows, so it'll only be as big, it'll only take up as much space on your physical hard drive as what's needed to run the operating system, and it'll grow. It's basically called dynamic. And I basically gave it 2 cores as well for the processor. But let's go down and start up our virtual machine and get this thing up and running. And as you can see, I'm running this thing on Proxmox, and basically this is the first thing that'll pop up. You have 2 options to select. You have boot with open source drivers, and then you have boot with proprietary drivers. We're gonna boot with the open source drivers, and also you can make some changes here, like the language, keyboard layout, time zone, all that good stuff. But we're gonna do that through the install, so I'm not going to bother with touching any of that. Now, just so you know, the current version is 21.3, which is what I'm installing right now. So this is what you'll get when you download the operating system today. And this was released I believe this month, a little while ago, actually a couple days ago, I believe, when this was released, the 21.3. But anyway, let's wait for this thing to come up and we can install. And I might make the screen a little bigger so you guys can actually see what's going on. And all right, cool. So I configured my display so it'll look a little better. But this is the first thing that'll pop up. It basically pop up with a hello, and it basically gives you a whole bunch of information about the system. And this is the same thing that'll pop up when you install and the first time you actually boot it up. You know what I'm saying? You'll have, documentation, support, links to everything, the project itself, as well as launching the installer, which is what we're going to do. But also, if you end up closing this for whatever reason while you're in the live ISO, then you can always click right here on the install Manjaro Linux, and that'll launch the installer as well. So 2 options right there for you to actually go through and launch the installer. But simple installer. 21.3.0 is the code name is Rua. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but as you can see, it's a very simple installer. And if you've installed plenty of Linux operating system, you probably know that this is familiar to you. This is the Calamaris installer, which is awesome and very simple to use. So let's go through this right fast. But you select your language, press next, select your location, which I'm in America and in Los Angeles. It automatically recognized it, which is super cool. You can also change your system language if you need to, just by hitting the change button, as well as the numbers and dates locale. Mine is set to United States, so we're good to go there. Change our keyboard layout if we need to. Now, this is the hard drive setup or partitioning setup. So basically all you have to do is make sure you select the right drive, which mine is already selected, which is that VDA 63 gigabytes. I tell you guys 64, I gave it a 64 gigabyte virtual hard disk. So you want to make sure that's selected, and then it's going to erase the disk. And then you can put a swap, you really don't need to, but I'll just put a swap to file. And you can also make changes to what you want to, what type of partition you want to use. So you have ext4, btrfs, f2fs, as well as xfs. So either one, I'm gonna just use ext4, but you can also go in and manually partition your system. So some people like to have their home directory separate on a separate partition, or the var directory on a separate partition. It all depends on what you want to do, you know what I'm saying. Just look into the documentation and figure out if you want to manually partition. Otherwise, it's just going to put everything in one partition. Then you have some options down here. Encrypt the system if you want to, and then that's going to ask you for a password. You know, set that up. And then at the bottom, it's going to ask you the bootloader location. So you want that on the main partition, you know, so it'll boot up. Now let's go down and hit next, because we're done with that. And then now let's go down and create our user account. This is our first user account on the system, so I'm gonna just name it Josh. I'm gonna just put my name as Josh, and then what name do you want to use to log in, which is gonna automatically fill it out for you. I'm gonna name this system man 21.3, or you probably can't use a dot, so I'll just put 21. That's fine. We all know it's 21.3. And then the next thing is putting in a password, super secure password. So let's go down and type that in twice. Now, I never select login automatically without asking for a password. You can if you want to, don't recommend that. But then we can also use the same password for the administrator account, or if you want to put a different password in here for the administrator account, then, you know, you could type that in there. But we're going to use the same password for our root account. And then let's go down here next, and then this is a summary. And then, like I said, very simple, this is the install. So all you have to do is hit install, and hit install now, and we are good to go. It's going to partition our drives, and then it's going to copy over all the files, unpack them, and then, you know, install on the hard drive. So I'll be back when this actually finishes, and we can look over the desktop environment when we get up and running. Okay, cool. So the install is done, and as you can see, it basically shows you on the install, it says all done. Everything is installed. You can continue using the Manjaro live, you know, environment, or you can click this box and just hit done, and that'll go on and restart the system, which is what we're gonna do. So let's go down and hit done, and I'll wait for this thing to come back up. All right, cool. So I wanted to at least show you guys the login page, and I'll correct the display once we actually get into it. But this is essentially what you'll be greeted with when you first boot up the system after first installing. As you can see, it has your name already selected. All you have to do is type in your password and log into it. And as you can see, it's loading up Plasma. So this is KDE Plasma desktop environment, like I said we were going to install. So let me wait until it's finished. I'll be right back. And just to explain, when it first boots up, it kind of does some initial configuration, you know, but it shouldn't take this long to actually fully bring up the desktop environment, you know, when you boot up normally. So as you can see, we are up, so I'm glad that finished up. But let's go into our display settings and go down and make those changes right fast. That way you guys can see the full desktop and it'll show properly while I'm recording the video. Boom. So we're good to go. Got the full desktop environment, or the full desktop, you know, so you guys can actually see the full thing. But as you can see, this is the first thing that'll pop up. It's basically that Manjaro hello. So that'll pop up, you know, first thing basically says welcome to Manjaro. I kind of explained this. You got 3 different, you know, areas. You got your documentation, wiki, you know, support, forum board, you know, software applications. You can go right to the application installer and start installing your applications, and then also you got the project information as well as a way to donate. You can turn this off, so every time you log into the system for the first time, it won't launch this on startup. So good to go. And you can change the language if you need to, which I doubt it. Once you got it set, you should be good to go. But first off, you know, the background is super cool that comes with Plasma. The other one, it just basically like GNOME as well as XFCE. It basically comes with that XFCE wallpaper, and just to show you guys what it is right fast. But I really like that one. I think they created that one just for the Plasma desktop environment, but it looks super cool. All you gotta do is go in and find that Manjaro. Let's see if it's even on here. They may not even put it on here, and that's crazy. They don't even have it on here. That's dope, you know what I'm saying? But that's basically how you go in and change it if you want to change it up, you know what I'm saying? And you can go through, make some other changes in here, and this is mainly your desktop folder settings for Plasma. So, and all I did was right click and then click configure desktop and wallpaper, so that allow you to modify that as well as the display settings. Now I won't go through everything, you know what I'm saying, through here. I'll show you guys some of the settings, but I won't go through it all. And as you can see right below my face, there is a calendar over here. It'll pop up big enough so you guys can see it, but all you have to do is click on it. Good to go. And then there is an up arrow. This shows you the status and notifications. And then right below that is the networking, so you can go in there, modify your networking. If you plug something into the system, you know, you can eject it there. You got your volume settings right next to it. You should be able to see that. And then updates. So this is one of those status updates right there. So they do have just some updates that are pushed to the system for you guys to see, but you can easily click on it, hit mark all as read. That'll make them all go away. But you do have your notifications that pop up right here. Now, different desktops, you got desktop 1, desktop 2, so you guys understand how that work. If you've been using, you know, some form of Linux, you know, you can have multiple desktops open. And let's open up Firefox so we see what version comes on here, just so I can show you guys the desktop. So we got Manjaro open up on desktop 1, so you can go to desktop 2 and open up another application. Like, let's open up the terminal over here. Boom. So let's go back. Good to go. So you can jump back and forth between your desktops. And then the next little button right here is basically how you show the desktop. So you can show, you can minimize pretty much everything. So if you have a whole bunch of, you know, windows open, or you got your browser open, you got your file explorer open, you got all your different things open, you can just minimize them all. And let's go down there, check out what version of Firefox we got on here right fast. Let's go down to help and then about Firefox, and we have 101.0.1 64-bit version for Manjaro, so we're good to go. That's good to actually see. We got the most up-to-date version of Firefox. So now, one of the first things you want to do when you install Manjaro, which I need to do a video specifically on that because I want to be able to cover everything, is basically update your system. Now, you can do it from the terminal, which I'll just run it and cancel it, but because I'm sure it's a bunch of updates, but sudo pacman and then -syu, and that will update your system. It's going to ask you for your sudo password. And like I said, this is straight up Orch, you know, it's a rolling release and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna cancel it, you know what I'm saying? Well, actually, yeah, I'm gonna cancel it because I'm sure it's gonna be, you know, a good amount of updates. But just wanted to show you guys that, you know what I'm saying, we're good to go. And let's see what we, you know, got on here. Let's just open up HTOP right fast so you guys can see the system. And this is before I actually open up a lot of stuff. I had a terminal up in 2 different places, but as you can see, the memory is about 756 megabytes. But I'm sure if I open up some applications, it'll, you know, start reaching about a gig, you know, a couple applications if I open them up, you know what I'm saying. But I kind of wanted to show you at least, you know, something to that effect. Now let's see if Neo fetches on here, and it is. So let's check it out, see what comes up. Now as you can see, the kernel version is 5.15. The uptime obviously 7 minutes. It's only been up for a couple minutes, but the amount of packages that are installed from Pamac is 1,190. We have the bash 5.1.16. We have the desktop environment. This is the version of Plasma, and we got 5.24.5. So we got the latest version of that. Window manager, KWin themes. So we have the Breeze theme, GTK 2 and 3, as well as the icons, which is that Breeze theme. So we're good to go with that. Now let's go down and close that out, because I wanted to go down and open up the way I wanted to show you guys how to install and update your system, as well as install new applications. And I didn't mean to hit the start menu, but right here, you just click right here, add remove software. And this is the awesome Pamac application, GUI application. So this allows you to update, install, you know, remove software, all that good stuff. Now right here is showing you everything that's installed, or pretty much. Now what this is showing you is basically a browse feature. It's showing you pretty much popular software basically on the main page. So Shotwell, you know what I'm saying, Telegram, desktop, VirtualBox if you want to install it. But Firefox is already installed, and you could tell by it has the trash can. So if it didn't have the trash can, it would have that down arrow basically saying download, or download and install. But the trash can means that it's installed on the system. And then you can actually look at what's installed by just clicking on the install tab. And I meant to say that at the beginning, but you basically got 3 different tabs for this application. That's why it's so simple. You know what I'm saying? You got your browse, install, and then updates, which is what I want to go on and check out right now. It should have updated. Yeah, so let's roll with that and get this thing fully up to date. But one thing I also seen was that there is a kernel update, or a newer version of the kernel. So I wanted to show you guys how to actually change that up right fast if you want to. But as you can see, the system is up to date, so we're good to go. We don't really need to, you know, mess with anything. But this is installed, and they have a couple categories. You have orphan packages, you have foreign packages, you have explicitly installed packages. So that's an easy way to keep a track of everything. It kind of breaks everything out, you know, on those tabs on the left. And then we go back to the browse. I forgot to show you guys this, but on the left hand side, they do have different categories, so you can look through different types of applications. So featured applications, which is what's showing up now, photos and videos, so editing, you know, all that stuff. You can probably find GIMP in there, music and audio, but this is a good way to actually browse just to see what's out there, you know what I'm saying, on the system. And then one last thing I want to show you guys right here. This shows you all of the repositories that are currently activated. We got our core, we got our extra, we got our community, and multi-lib. They are all, you know, active. Now one other thing I want to show you guys is if you go over here to the hamburger and go to preferences, let's see, we should be able to add the AUR, or at least activate it. I'm not sure where it is, but let's check under here and see what we got. But you can add, yeah, here we go. So enable AUR support. So all you have to do is hit this. That'll enable AUR support. Keep built packages. This is just some options for you, and check for updates for packages within the AUR. So as you get new updates to the packages, you know what I'm saying, it'll update those packages for you. Now Flatpaks, boom. If you want to use Flatpaks, you can enable that as well as snap. So it does have a snap option as well, which we're not going to play around with. I'm not going to mess with that right now. It doesn't matter as long as I don't have anything installed over there. It's not going to even do it's not going to really do anything. But one cool thing about it under advanced that I wanted to show you guys, you can ignore upgrades to certain applications. So just just wanted to show you guys that that's available to you, as well as you could downgrade packages. You just have to activate it, but you're good to go. And then some more little options in here, like remove unrequired dependencies. So if something it was required at one point, if it's not required anymore, as far as a dependency for a specific application, it'll remove that dependency as long as it's not needed for any other application. So I just wanted to show you guys that you could change up your update options. It'll show it on the tray down below. As far as your app updates, so it'll check every 6 hours. But unlike Windows, it won't just start installing it and then just automatically reboot your system. That's one cool thing about Linux. You control when you want to update, you control when your system restarts, you control pretty much everything about the system. So wanted to kind of point that out to you guys. But let's go down and close that out. But that is Pamac, and I want you guys to really sit there and understand how to use this, or play around with it so you can get a good understanding of how to use it, because this is how you get the most out of your system, by understanding how to install applications that you would want to use on your system. So let's go down and close that out. Now just show you guys how to browse files if you're new to this, but this is Dolphin. This is kind of like your file explorer. But yeah, you can go through, look at your documents, open up your documents, and I won't go through all the applications that are pre-installed on here, but there are a good amount of applications, basically everything you need in order to run the operating system. You got your calculator, got photo, manager, BitTorrent application, system monitor, time shift, Thunderbird for your email, VLC, all that good stuff is on there. So you should be able to get up and running as soon as you install this application, or as soon as you install this operating system. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys check out this latest version of Manjaro. It's awesome distribution. It's Arch based, so that makes it even awesome, even more awesome. And it is a rolling release, which makes this operating system top notch. So check it out. If you ever wanted to use Arch, well, this is a way to use Arch without having to go through the stringiest install process, which is not that stringy. I just say it like that because that's the way a lot of people feel, especially if they're new to Linux. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comments below. And also down in the comments, go down and let me know what distribution you want me to look at next. So I'm basically taking requests from you guys, and I'll provide the content that you guys want to see from me. So I definitely appreciate everybody supporting the channel, as well as your comments. I enjoy talking to you guys about Linux because that's what I like to talk about. But I hope you guys have a good day, and of course, keep it techie.